Hi, I'm Salvation, and in this series of videos I will show you some of my character builds in Path of Exile. For the first video I have chosen one of my more uncommon characters, which is cast on Meleekill Cyclone. Let's have a look at the skill tree. We started as a Scion because we wanted to travel to both sides of the tree. This is because we take face acrobatics and acrobatics, and also need this cluster for reduced mana reserved, because we are an elemental cyclone, so most of our damage will come from the auras we are running. Then we go out from this side. The life regeneration is nice to have, because we will run our Cyclone on blood magic, so the life regeneration helps us to sustain it. Travel down here for some more life regeneration, and also an endurance charge. Then the important part here is to get to the Templar starting area and to sovereignty, because we need many reduced mana reserved nodes in the tree. Also the aura effect is pretty nice. In the Templar starting area we have some really nice nodes that will help both our attacks and the spells we cast with our kills. So we have this elemental list here that gives us elemental damage, and we also have amplify that increases the radius of area skills, which is both our cyclone and our discharge. Nodes like this are also pretty nice for us because they give attack speed and spell damage and melee damage. And in the Templar starting area there are some of the only nodes that increase melee damage. Most other nodes, like start of the duelist, will only give physical damage with attacks. So the Templar nodes are really nice for elemental builds, because they will increase elemental damage you deal with attacks that is added by your auras. So let's have a look at the gear I'm using. First there's Darezo's Defiance. This armor basically started the idea for this build, because I always thought it looked really awesome, and I wanted to do a build with this armor. And so I was looking for some build that could make really good use of the endurance charge on kill, and the best use for all kind of charges, especially if you will lose them anyway when you get hit, is just discharge them as soon as you can. So there was a cast on Meleekill discharge. To do the melee kills we need a melee skill, of course, and I use Cyclone here, linked with blood magic and the weapon elemental damage, of course. In our helmet slot we have Alpha's Hole, and yeah, this is really important slot for us, because we get this +2 to aura gems. This is quite a substantial boost to our DPS for Cyclone. And also we get an additional 8% reduced mana. We could also get this from the tree, but it saves a lot of skill points to get it on Alpha's Hole. And yeah, we have an Anger, Brass and Grace in this helmet. These two are for our damage, and to have a bit more defense I choose to run Grace. Then we have also a Herald of Thunder that we use to curse on hit with elemental weakness. So we're dealing lots of elemental damage with our Cyclone. So the elemental weakness really helps us, and it also of course is good for our discharge, because it also does deal elemental damage. The same sword is basically for our weapon. We're using a Doyani's Catalyst because it really boosts the elemental damage substantially, and also has some nice physical DPS on top of that, and not too bad attack speed, and also lets us leech some of the elemental damage as life, which is really nice, because this is the only item in the game where you can leech elemental damage, and not restricted by the type of elemental damage. So we are dealing basically fire damage and lightning damage, and with Doyani's Catalyst we can leech from both of that, and also leech from our discharge that will deal lightning damage and cold damage. For boots we're using Atziri's Step. Of course we want them because of the chance to dodge spells, to stack with face acrobatics that we got from the tree, and together with the 6% chance to dodge attacks from the Resist Defiance, we get quite a nice defense setup there. We have a 46% chance to dodge attacks and 44% dodge spells. With better rolled Atziri's Steps we could get to 46 and 46. I'm wearing these because I got them from a buddy who corrupted them for +1 to suck at the gems, and I thought it was cool to use them. For a shield we just use a high evasion shield with some life on it, and also I prefer to use a base that has at least some block chance. Would love to get a shield with additional block chance, but yeah, it's not that important after all. Gloves are also mainly for resists and life. You can also get some added elemental damage here, which is a nice bonus. For rings we want life and resists, of course, and weapon elemental damage is really nice for this build, and flat elemental damage also helps a lot. Yeah, same goes for the amulet. You can get some additional spell damage on there and weapon elemental damage. For the belt we want high life, some resists, and weapon elemental damage. For flasks I'm using some normal life flask with curse immunity, remove bleeding. We don't need a flask to remove frozen because we're wearing Alpha Soul. Artillery's Promise can really boost our DPS and also gives us a lot of additional leech when we feel like we need it. Chaos Resist is also a nice bonus. Using roomies, even if I have acrobatics on the tree, because we still can get some decent block chance, and while we're using a shield, why not use the block chance? After all, acrobatics is only less chance to block, and we still have 21%, and when we use the roomies we can go up to 35%, which isn't all that bad. We also get a little tiny amount of spell block, but this is also because I'm not using a legacy roomies here, and the armor boost isn't that big, but we get to 25% damage reduction, up from 7%, which can help. But I feel like the additional block chance is a main draw for me to use roomies. Yeah, we also have a Quicksilver Flask, because it will not only let us move faster, but it will also let us attack faster when we use Cyclone. See, this is how I normally attack, and if I boost a Flask I will be able to cast Cyclone a lot faster. To get charges, besides the Resource Defiance armor, I'm also using Blood Rage. We have some chaos resistance on the tree and on the gear, and also a lot of life regeneration. So as you see, I can turn on Blood Rage without losing life at all.